Hey guys, it's Coach P. This is the first time I actually did this, but I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. I know I was trying to go ahead and get this out of the way during class, but we had time constraints. I know the schedule's been crazy, but I wanted to make sure we were all, together. This lecture is really pretty much reiterating what we talked about. Just wanted to really go over, the whole unit, considering that we do have a test tomorrow. And I know a lot of you actually like using Canvas. Some of you may not have internet access to this, but that's okay. You do have extended time on your IEPs and we'll accommodate you necessarily. So we just want to take a look and go over our notes. Actually, this is our slotted notes that y'all did. Everything's filled in as if in my point of view. So you will notice that some things aren't underlined that you actually wrote, but that's okay. All right. So moving on, let's go ahead and start. All right. So this is, I feel like it's important to me. This is, it is current issues, and this is actually our topic for this week. And we've been working on this for the past few weeks over environment and energy. If we go ahead and start, just to reiterate our learning target and our central question, I want you to be able to demonstrate knowledge of the nature of various environmental problems. We've had 6 of them that we actually looked at, or 10 in this PowerPoint, but I showed you a supplemental resource online that actually showed 6, and either or is okay. And our central question, what are examples of various environmental issues the world is facing today? I want you to make sure that, we do have this answered by the end of the week. Okay. Moving on. All right. So there was the top 10 worst environmental issues facing our planet. We had the ozone hole. We have public health issues. We have deforestation, acid rain, energy crisis, waste disposal, pollution, climate changing, and overpopulation. I'm not too sure if you can see number 2 and number 1. Granted, this is my first time actually using this. I actually got this from another teacher who I co-teach with. Mr. Rich actually uses this like religiously. So I just wanted to, figure out how to do it. And I think it's pretty cool. I think I'm going to start doing this for our future lessons to make sure that, we are on the same page and you understand what's going on. Okay. A lot of you, actually don't ask that many questions. I don't know if you're afraid of me, which, look at me. I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm your teacher. I'm here to help you. And that's the ultimate goal. So yeah, let's get to it. All right. So the ozone layer or the ozone hole, basically it's depleting. The next slide should have a picture of what's actually going on. But basically the ozone layer, ozone shield, it's a region of the Earth's stratosphere, which observes the majority of the sun's ultraviolet UV radiation rays. This actually helps protect us from actually not being burned. The problem with that is the layer is being depleted by the chemicals and air pollution caused by us. NASA had an article about aerosols, a flammable gas, over what is going into, the air, the space. And it's pretty crazy to think that, we don't think much of it because we're down in Earth. But at some point, if the ozone layer especially is supposed to help us with the UV rays, if the UV rays deplete the ozone layer, we are going to get fried. Period. Point blank period. No jokes aside. Seriously, this helps us. You think getting burned and SPF 50 is going to help? Huh? Okay. Good luck with that with UV rays. Oh, go back. All right. So the ozone layer, here's actual, scientific picture. If you see, although this is a current issues, a social studies class, this is an issue. And, I'm not going to say I'm the number 1 teacher as far as in science, but, I am going to, go over it because this is a current issue. And actually in our standards, this class does actually have, Georgia Department of Education or Georgia School of Excellence, standards, but they do have QCCs, which is Quality Core Curriculum. And the topics we were working on was 8 and 9. Okay. And that's pretty much what's reiterated in our essential questions. So if you look to the top right over here, you got UVA, UVB. There's the ozone layer. This shields the Earth from the UV rays from actually not getting down. Down here, you have your CFCs, your aerosols, refrigerants, and solvents. We talked about that earlier. And this is pretty much the breakdown of the molecule. Okay. You have fluorine, chlorine, carbon, and ozone molecule is O3. So it's 3 forms of oxygen. And you look over here, number 1, ultraviolet rays split a chlorine atom away from the CFC, chlorofluorocarbon molecule. Say that 5 times fast. Number 2, the chlorine atoms break up the ozone molecule, making a hole. The hole in here, and this is also, like I said, the depleting chemicals. And also the molecules left are, chloro monoxide and oxygen. I know I've probably blown you away, but long story short, if this over here goes away, the ozone layer is depleted, we are in trouble. The sun is hot. I mean, I know in Georgia the weather's crazy. It can snow one day and it can be 100 degrees the next day and it can rain cats and dogs. Okay, not literally. I know I teach a lot of freshmen. Y'all probably think I'm funny, which is okay. Positive learning, right? Anyways, like I said, ozone layer is important. We do need this to protect us, from, not only global warming, but, just to protect us from the sun. The sun is hot. I know, can't remember who did it, but I know one of you actually asked if we can go to, the sun as a field trip. I know that was, jokingly. Feel free, we can, but it might be frowned upon. However, we can use the magic school bus, haha, but, this would also be a once in a lifetime experience. Yeah. No pun intended. Actually, pun intended. Whatever. Anyways, moving on. All right, so this is another breakdown of the sun. You see over here, the ozone molecules are photolyzed, yielding 2 oxygen atoms, and it's just pretty much as a conversion process, how the UV rays are actually created. And down here is the Earth. The sun moves its rays, UV rays, all the way down, and it breaks down the ozone, fast. And at some point, if we, stop polluting, if we don't, then the sun UV rays is going to hurt us, and that's not good, guys. All right, so the ozone hole is not technically a hole. I know we kind of, stress that, but it's not necessarily a hole, but it is depleted ozone, okay? So let's say this is the ozone layer. This is the ozone hole, okay? Basically, it's depleted a stratosphere over the Antarctic that happens at the beginning of the southern hemisphere through spring, and that's August and October. Okay. Technical words, 300 Dobson units. Any area where the concentration is, if it drops below 220 Dobson units, is considered part of the ozone hole. So if you look down here, well, you probably can't see it. If I were to scroll this up, it actually shows the Dobson units color light. And if it's in green, it's actually in the 330 to 400 range. If it's in the purple, bluish, whichever you want to call it, that's 220 and below. And the lowest number being 110, highest being 550. If it's 110, it's going to be purple, like you see. If it's 550, it's going to be red. And that is not good. All right, so number 9, public health issues. We talked about diabetes, guys. Type 1 is basically your body doesn't produce insulin. We actually have a student who had type 1 diabetes. So it was interesting to hear from his perspective. Raul, I believe. Also type 2, basically it's similar. However, the body produces insulin, but not as much. And you need insulin to, function properly. Okay. It controls your sugar levels. Also, gestational diabetes. This isn't the case for everybody. I hope this is really for women. I'm joking, guys. Anyway, I crack myself up sometimes. I know I'm cheesy. But anyways, gestational diabetes, like I said, is for pregnant women. This is really, like I said, for pregnant women, and it's just a part of it. I mean, as you are pregnant, you go through your trimesters, you may develop diabetes. And if you do have gestational diabetes, it's not life-threatening. You just have to change your diet. Funny story, I actually got a call from my wife as I was printing out your test that we're going to take tomorrow. She actually doesn't have it. And for those of you who remember, I do have a baby boy on the way. His name's Dane, and he will be here in March. And it's pretty exciting. I know a lot of you said I look like I'm 36. Well, I guess you could say that because I'm having a kid now. Anyways, we have your obesity, your body mass index. If we were to scroll and click this link right here, let's see if we can pull it up. All right, so it shows you how to calculate it, okay? So you're going to take your weight, 125, let's say you have that, multiply that by 0.45. Okay, that's approximately to 56.25 kilograms. And you're going to multiply the height in inches. You're going to square the answer from step 2, divide the answer from step 1 answers in step 3, and it gives you your BMI. So basically it's saying your BMI for a person is 5.3, weighs 125 pounds, and 22.7 or practically 23, okay? A healthy BMI ranges from 19 to 25, and there's also different charts we can look at from the Mayo Health Clinic and shapeup.org that kind of help you, distinguish whether or not you are considered obese or healthy. I actually did this, and we talked about it before. Miss Taylor actually let us use the scanners where you can actually lift it up and hold it in your hands, and you can see, calculate your height, your age, and see whether or not you're obese. If you haven't noticed, I believe mine was like 29 in college. That's not good. I mean, Coach B was obese. Okay. I don't think there's ever been a situation where I've never been considered obese, but, being 6 foot, 240, I really don't think that's obese. But Anyways, you use one of those scanning machines and it reads like, just like similar if you're on an elliptical, it reads your pulse, and based on that, it actually determines whether or not, you're obese and what scale and range you're at. So it's pretty interesting note. Okay. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. All right. So if we go back, number 8, deforestation. Basically that is removal of trees. It cuts down burning, provide land for agricultural purposes, residential or industrial buildings. Problem with this is, what lives in the forest? Animals. Okay. If they don't have their habitat, and this will kind of go into biodiversity too, we won't have wildlife. And the cool thing about trees, with, hydropower and wind power, this actually is a building material for fuel. And for those of you that remember, one of our learning objectives was to determine the difference between a renewable and a non-renewable resource. Renewable meaning that it can be replenished over time. Non-renewable meaning once it's out, it's out. Okay. You think about your coal. Okay. Now, what does this look like? Okay. I found a pretty cool picture. I believe this is in Mongolia, I think. And basically, it's a cool little design. Kind of looks like a corn maze now, but what it is, it's just cutting out these trees and, wildlife and nature to build, residential, commercial industries, businesses. And now, do we need that to grow in our economy? Yes, of course we do. But this is a problem because this happens a lot around the world. And also, like I talked about, trees being renewable, a resource, energy source, it helps with wind and helps with promoting clean air. Now, how does this impact us? Like I said, loss of habitat, cause climate change. Okay. It can get really hot. Trees are actually used to provide shade, if you didn't know that. Desertification, if we go back to the picture, if this is gone, then we're pretty much a desert. Okay. And it's going to be hot. There won't be resources. Soil erosion, that's where we talk about your top soil is your best soil, when growing. And if that, after like a traumatic, like rainstorm or hurricane or, well, not necessarily hurricane, let's say, tropical storm, whatever, it would, erode and get rid of that soil. And that's what we use to actually make our, resources, make food, plants. Fewer crops, like I said, flooding, if we get that soil gone, everything start flooding. Also, it increased greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which can cause the depletion in the ozone layer if we go back. Also hosts problems for indigenous people who are coming into the country who actually live there and originate and from there. All right, we'll kind of speed this up a little bit. Acid rain, we kind of talked about this. Basically what it is developed through, chemicals and pollution that goes into the air, and the clouds will actually develop through different molecules, to make acid. And this rain is harmful, not just for us, but wildlife, stock, fish, everything. Maybe you see that in the picture. As it shows here a little process of how it works. Okay. Energy crisis. There was a quick video. Unfortunately, I can't really play this video. But anyways, basically, we saw this already, and it's on Canvas if you need to know it. But anyways, it is on, a gas shortage. And for those of you that don't remember, it talked about scarcity, being unlimited wants and unlimited desires, but not enough resources. The shortage is we are low, period. So if you take the example that we showed you earlier, this video pretty much depicted about a gas shortage. And when it's short and it's out, it is replenishable, but think of it like a natural gas. It takes a while. Think about fossil fuels too. These are not necessarily renewable, but if they are renewable or can be renewed, it's going to take thousands of years. And like I said, coal, natural gas, petroleum, these are all supplies of energy sources. They're decreasing. They're non-renewable. Waste disposal. All right. This video, if you watched it, it's about 7 minutes long, I believe. It basically talks about how do we fix our trash problem. Guys, we have a lot of waste. We waste a lot of trash. Okay. Now, where does it go? You would think the dump, right? Yes. But at some point, that's got to go somewhere. If you ever been to, waste disposal in Hall County, Barrow County, wherever, it's like a mountain. Okay. Now, this goes into the dirt. They actually found a way in Finland, how they have a machine that actually goes and, deters and tears up all of the materials like through a machine, and it's like lasered, it's like machine powered or solar powered. Think about your renewable energy sources, and actually gets rid of all that waste. So that's pretty cool. Loss of biodiversity. We talked about how you get rid of the, deforestation, and you lose the wildlife, you lose the necessary resources. Pollution, we talked about all airs, gas from factories. We actually talked about this in the Kahoot. Air pollution is a big problem. This happens all day, and this goes to, not carpooling or just bad, gas in the air.